Welcome to the show. I'm Antonio. This is...
Or should I say my name? I'm Taryn.
This is
You can't even see my face. You see my...
on today's show, we're going to be making what we call...
Don't
arts.
mind me. I have
around,
to do this.
to move around your hand. That's part of the art too. Sometimes we just disappear from the camera, and that's part of the, that's part of the
You know,
thing.
this is going to go on until we feel like we're done with this, right? Are you
Yeah,
just going
why
to continue
not?
talking?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a documentary. Like,
Wait, I want to see this now. I'm like, if we're ever...
This is the side effects of the Florida hurricane that we're in the middle of.
Of the coronavirus.
The coronavirus. This is all like side effects of the coronavirus.
Windy.
Stay safe, everyone.
Windy weather. China's coming.
Yes.
Santa Claus is coming.
To town.
I like how I'm just
Yes.
gluing tissue.
Just felt like waving to our friends and forget we were there.
The one view we'll get.
The one view.
Hi, one view, that would be us.
We're very grateful for your attention. Let me just do a
You
little,
know we can do.
like a cooking show. This is wood that we found out here. And
Wait, you know what we can
use
do?
it.
We could actually do a YouTube live and just...
We'd have to start an account for that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's show them what we've already created a little bit of.
How do we do that? How do you move it?
So this is
You just flip it over.
our masterwork that's getting Da Vinci very jealous right now. That's a hole.
That's a hole.
That's Taryn's hand.
That's Taryn's hand. No,
This
but
is
to
Taryn?
be fair, this is Taryn.
And this is some stuff we've also got. That's a half-eaten
But
wrap,
you know what?
a drink.
To be on the more, I guess, serious side, you know, like we're gonna sell this, and
This will
we
be sold.
found it in nature.
This is made.
It's kind of like you
from
pay
nature.
for water, right?
Yes,
This is a fuck you to that.
it is. It is. And
On the more serious side,
it is. And also speaking of water, we have water.
we have water, a paid resource
It
that's
is.
full of pollution.
We will not be selling the water, but
No,
but it is there.
the city of St. Pete does that.
Yes, correct. That's true. So, yeah,
They say patience is a virtue.
that's what they say, the wise.
I say fuck you.
Yeah. I won't,
I'm
but
from
she
New
will.
York. I'm from New York. I could say that.
In true New York speak.
New York speakeasy.
It is. Speakeasy.
You know, those are the really only authentic speakeasies, you know?
Well, Chicago too.
But, like, who wanted to go to Florida in the 1920s? Like, that really would have sucked.
Well, this is the history lesson part of the show. Back in the 20s,
me.
back in the 20s,
Was it fun?
People like Al Capone did actually have houses in Florida because this is part of what they were called the rum runners. They would come in through the Keys and bring in liquor from Cuba and other places in the Caribbean where alcohol was legal. And they would bring it into the States and just kind of carry it through different parts. And a lot of them did have houses in Florida.
So, why was it... like,
History lesson.
welcome to our TED Talk.
Right? Welcome to our TED Talk.
But, like, why was it... like, okay, so what made... I know
This is an
why.
actual show. The conversation is going like all over the place. I love it. Sorry, go ahead. What was your question?
Reality TV.
Like when you get callers and radio shows.
What's the question? What's your dumb question?
Click.
It's like, well, what's 2 plus 2? 5? No. No,
Let's
but
ask
so-
other callers. What
So they got it in from Cuba, right?
and other Caribbean, yeah, and other places.
But it really makes you wonder, like, you know, they really thought that, like, the prohibition would have actually, like, benefited people back then, and it really didn't.
Yeah, well, a lot of it came from. There's
I mean, they
different
just
movements.
came out
yeah.
of World War I. Let
Yeah.
them fucking drrink. That's what I
They-
say.
well,
Let everyone drink.
And I'm sure they did. And the prohibition didn't stop them from drinking.
It
Right?
didn't.
If anything, the numbers went up. But but yeah, there's a lot of different groups that were backing prohibition. You know, like there's very religious people.
Ooh, should we
know?
get, like,
Ooh.
the arrowheads?
Yes. Show the book, the cover of the book. This is a book. And it's and that's a
So did I
page with
tell you-
arrowheads.
No, this is story time. One time.
Story time.
One time I was in, what grade was it? Oh.
Expert camera skills.
Like maybe 9th grade.
Okay.
9th or 10th grade. Don't quote me on that. Probably 10th grade. It was in high school. I'll just say that. In high school. And
In
then
10th grade, Taryn quoting you.
Right. That'll be in the Tampa Bay Times.
Mails it in.
The one viewer.
The one viewer.
Or the 0 viewers.
Yes.
And my math teacher, like her father died in a very, like, you know, during class, and she's like, oh my god, I have to go, because her dad lived in New York at the time. And so we were sent into different classes, and I only experienced, I don't know how it is, like, for you, like, when you were growing up, but, like, for me, it was always, like, if you're in honors, you have to stay with honors, like, in a very bad way, because if you go, you can't go down, you could only go up in school.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they push people to take advanced classes, or honors classes, or, like, AP classes. Even if you couldn't do it, it was always recommended that you did it,
Okay, yeah.
At least that's how it was in my school.
Yeah,
Because
and-
God forbid you take a
Regular.
it's called regular.
Right.
How dumb is that? Like, I mean, really.
Yeah, well, there's probably, and this is me guessing, there's probably like funding dollars tied to that. Like the more people they have in honors, the better the school looks, and
No, yeah.
You know.
No, they had the AP kids. I remember we took the, was it like the EOC, just in case we didn't pass the AP class, but they said, it was like, or in my school, I'm not going to say the school name, because I may get arrested at this point. But
The
like,
expose.
but they said that the reason why they had AP students, besides, if we didn't pass the AP class, at least we passed the class, was because we would most likely, because I think I got like a 5 on the EOC, like whatever the highest number was back then. I don't know what it is now, because things change in Florida.
because we're so old
So,
that we're already outdated.
and no, but we are. I have an
Probably.
expiration date, 2022.
We've got 2 years to make all this art. To see if
Before it
receive
becomes
expires.
spoiled almond milk.
God, I hate almond milk.
And
Drinks almond milk.
right.
Yes.
And oh yeah, and so I forgot what I was gonna say. I had the 2 stories going on. This is what happens when you're from New York. I have too many stories that's relevant. And then because we got the 4 or 5s, like the highest scores, that we would give the school money. And so the more kids passed the EOCs, the more funding that that the school would get.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure at all. Just
And so anyway, back to how the book is relevant again. This all makes sense in my head because it relates back to high school.
Okay.
And so, like I said, the math teachers, her father died, so we were separated into different classes, and I was sent to another math class, and I was doing like my assignment work, and when I was finished, I pulled out a book because I had nothing else to do. And I was reading, and I remember so clearly someone asked me, and I felt like, you don't know how to feel in that moment. It's like, I was like, oh, they're like, what's this? And I was like, oh, it's a novel on blah, blah, blah. And I forgot the name of the book, but then the person was like, what's a novel?
this isn't
In high school. And then I remember I just paused, and I was like, here I am, like, taking honors in AP classes, and it's kind of like you get so absorbed into yourself that you don't realize like other people, like other situations that are happening in the school.
Okay.
Needless to say, I hated that school.
I am going to take this moment to give a very special shout out and learning
To
lesson
your teacher?
out of this. No, well, yes, and to my teachers, says, thank you for the good ones. But also to say that if you don't know what a novel is, we're going to very lovingly ask you to stop watching and click off and,
Look up the definition.
look up the definition of novel and then
come
back. Yes. Because we do want viewers.
No, but if you don't know like the like say if like English is a second language, or like if you're an immigrant
Oh, well,
coming
yeah.
in, then
There's
obviously
exceptions,
yeah.
yeah.
No, but sometimes like you could be in a mind funk.
Well, if that's not the case, if you grew up speaking it, and you actually read novels, and you don't know what a novel is, then
A book of words.
yes, we have dictionaries, we have Google, we have amazing resources these days that I encourage our
We no longer
many
have
viewers.
the encyclopedias.
yeah.
That those are gone.
Yeah, we have Wikipedia, that's still around. Maybe in 10 years when this airs, there won't be a thing
10
anymore.
years when it airs.
Yeah,
Oh, it's the same thing on the
yes.
back as it is the front. Do you prefer the front?
Is this showing? Yeah,
Or the back.
with to show our viewers our creative process. This is our documentary of how to make art, the BlackOUT way.
What do you think? A, B.
Let me see. So just so the viewers see, I'm looking at the
As if you could.
page, and I'm also looking at the page numbers. So
65 and 66. I could feel a 66. I don't know.
Let me see.
What's the numerology
Ooh.
for like 65?
not just that, but the labeling. So 65 says archaic cultures. 66 says early hunters, gatherers, and fishers.
I like this one because this one's more accurate. Early hunter gatherers and fishers. I like that.
And that is more in line with the vibe we are capturing here. So
Which is evil to, English words can be dangerous.
it is very dangerous, like the
Calling-
coronavirus.
Like calling someone primitive.
Yes, actually that is a thing. Yes,
I
and here,
said no
correct.
to that.
So
Top or on the side maybe.
I don't.
I feel like we could also like connect it, you know what I mean? And put it down a little more. Because the dream catcher would be right here too, kind of in the center.
But then it would block the moss bit
Oh, that's true.
Maybe-
We could also fold it.
down here. Oh, I like that.
You like that?
What do you think?
I like that.
Look, see, we've just placed it here. This is Sharon's hand. For context,
hand.
for reference. Yes. And now we are creating more art.
Maybe you should look up some words.
I should, yes. This would be helpful for our documentary.
For a documentary.
Yes.
Imagine if we actually post this.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Well-
it's kind of like one of those things. It's like, oh, when we post this and we're so rich and famous, and at the end, it's like, no, we won't.
We'll
It'll
have
be like everybody else, every other struggling artist out there.
3 views and they'll all be family. Maybe one friend.
Honestly, though.
Yeah. Actually, this does remind me in a much less elaborate way of something I read today. This is, my
Yes.
part where I share, things in my thoughts of the day. They're going to be releasing in September of this year, which is 2020, a new version of the Beatles documentary that they filmed while the Beatles were breaking up. So it was, they're using new footage of it, and they're going to be releasing it. And Disney will be one of the companies that's going to be helping to release it. So, and they're using
Really?
Peter Jackson, who did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He's the director, and he's directing
But-
this.
There is a controversy on whether or not he screwed up The Hobbit, those three. If that's to say, is that the same guy who did the 3 Hobbit films?
I don't know. I
think
know he
so.
did Lord of the Rings, and that's the most that I could say with confidence.
I could say with confidence, I am a Hobbit fan. I am not a Lord of the Ring fan. Because Bilbo had that ring for like over 50 fucking years. Frodo had it 2 to 3. Tell me who's better. Try me. Love you.
I'm not gonna get in that mess. Very controversial issues here, and I'm not gonna touch the Hobbit. Yeah. It's we avoid controversy at all costs. We don't,
We do?
right?
You
Yeah,
literally
that's
told people who don't know the definition of a noddle. Not a noddle?
a noddle. We also make new words here. That's also
A
part of
noodle.
what we do. Yes. And for example, we created a cross between a spot and a freckle, and that's called a speckle. And that's blackout
remember that.
vocabulary.
Oh, do you even say, like, our art company?
Yes, we are BlackOUT Art. And this is a BlackOUT Art.
A.
Yes. And sometimes we have little helpers, like this guy. He's
Follow
joining
us
us
on
today.
Instagram.
Yes.
Black.out.art.
And he is suggesting that we follow, that
we
you
didn't
follow
name
us on
him.
BlackOUT.
Or her. Or it.
This is our trickster friend.
Trickster friend.
And our trickster friend wants you to follow us on Instagram.
What about a coyote? Coyote the trickster?
Coyote Trickster.
I mean, that's authentic.
It is authentic. I also think of hyenas.
Their laugh.
Yeah, they have
You
like
know?
that creepy, I feel like they're very trickstery too.
But they're very, I was gonna say playful, like how they hunt.
Yeah.
If you ever see those like hunting documentaries, like those
And-
nature documentaries?
It also reminds me of those creepy hyenas from The Lion King. Remember?
Shenzi, Ed, and was it Eddie?
I don't remember any of their names.
I know it's Shenzi. I think Shenzi, and that's the female. Because female, is it true? And this isn't in the wild too. I don't know. Is it just the Lion King? Fun fact. That female hyenas are like the head of the pack. I don't know if that's the case in actual nature or if that's just the Lion King fun fact.
I don't. That would be cool. It would be a very, if hyenas were feminists, that'd be really cool. I know that with lions, that the women definitely do a lot of the heavy lifting, and the lion men are the ones who are always seen because
I
the
remember
mane.
watching a documentary with my mom when I was younger. It was like lions sleep like 20 out of 24, like male lions sleep 20 out of 24 hours, and I looked to my mom's cat Sable, and she was just out taking a nap, and she was like, and I was like, that's so accurate. Like 20 out of 24 hours. Because sometimes I see my cat Olivia sleeping and I wonder if she's dead. Don't you ever wonder too? Like, they just look so still and they don't move, and then I see the little going up and down. And I'm like, oh, she's okay. Or like Nolan. I mean, guinea pigs. I have 2 guinea pigs. They sleep with their eyes open.
What?
Yes. One time,
Really?
so I had a guinea pig Schnitzel. His name was Schnitzel because he shit a lot. And then when I adopted him, we changed it to Schnitzel because we're kid friendly in our household. And so anyway, so Schnitzel, this name, I cannot but laugh.
Taryn also has German background, so Schnitzel is extra appropriate.
It is. My big Oma, that was her favorite. Cause
Oh.
I don't know if it's because she, Schnitzel,
Schnitzel. Schnitzel, the guinea pig. You should
And
copyright
so
that.
I think he was like 4 or 5 at the time, which for guinea pig standards, it's like, 5 to 7, it's like
the wise guinea pigs, the
Yeah,
ancient,
exactly.
the
Yeah,
Yodas
yeah.
of guinea pigs.
like the shamans,
the shamans.
the elders.
The elders, the guinea pig elders.
No, but Athena turned 4. I think she turned 4. And then I went to the vet, and then I said, oh, is there like a senior guinea pig checkup? And they said no. And I said, well, if cats can have a senior, or like dogs get a senior wellness checkup, and so do birds, why can't my fucking guinea pigs get a senior wellness checkup? It's worth, she's worthy. And it's a good discount.
Did she have an
More
answer?
importantly, it's a good discount. That's what I care about.
Fair enough. Did the vet have an explanation for that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So I hope other vets do that. I
Yes,
think it's,
we're on the lookout.
You do like blood work, and I think it's right.
Yeah, I'm sure digestive, is
No,
part of
I
that.
think yeah, why not? Anyway,
Yeah.
Either way, it's still $70-something.
Oh,
Guess it
somebody.
doesn't matter.
Yes, somebody. Was this yesterday or the day before? I forget who I was talking to.
This really is a podcast.
It is.
Okay.
This is
now to go back
that's gonna
to
get
you.
us- yeah.
Going back to you, Antonio.
back to you, handing the mic that doesn't exist yet, because this is extra lo-fi.
I have business cards. Those
Okay.
would stick. All from Florida.
Alrighty.
Besides Amazon.
Are you? Oh, look. Are you one of the lucky ones? This is backwards on the. Oh well. But yes. So I heard from somebody who probably doesn't actually know themselves, but I
Kinda
heard.
like the splash of green. Nature's blossom.
Kind of.
Ironically.
Yeah, I feel like we should tear it
Sorry,
here.
we're talking art now.
Yeah, occasionally we do actually do art.
Because I feel like a lot of people think artists they put paintings on a wall, and this is serious, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's why we're doing this, because it may look like trash, and to be fair, that's the point.
And it is meant to, yeah.
It's meant to. It's talking about, first of all, what's a fine art? What is?
Mm-hmm.
You're going back to this question, what is art? And sometimes critics say, oh, the nature and the hunter-gatherer. I like it because it's green.
Yes, it does come down to that sometimes.
That's
But
so-
even the idea, for example, of using a canvas in a different way than most people would, like as an object.
Maybe I'll stand
you know?
this up just so they could get like a clear
Yes.
picture of
Yes.
like, it's not done yet, but like to get like a clear picture of what this is.
Yes. So it is, it is a statement on several levels, but sometimes it does just come down to green is nice. But yeah, in any case, on to more important matters. I did.
Eckerd College actually is right next door. If we want to actually like I feel like we should do this in the back and sign our names on it.
Ooh,
I think that'd
yes.
be really cool.
Good
Because
idea.
Eckerd College is like a mile away from here. I think that'd be really fun.
That would be fun, and it's a nice campus.
You could like stand this here so you don't have to continue holding the phone.
I like holding it. It makes me, feel.
Makes you feel like.
Yes, exactly. I'm a
I like
TV personality now.
I do like documenting this, because if we
Yes.
do go anywhere in life where we look back in a year, if we're like
Or in our
tomorrow, or if
80s.
we meet later and we're like, hey, where did we leave off last time? Or
Second installment, the sequel. But yes, someone once said that with guinea pigs that apparently they eat their own.
I do a gift card.
Very generic.
They
gift
do
card.
eat their own feces, if that's what you're
Okay,
gonna say.
that was, yes.
That it
So that's a
it
thing.
helps them. Well, okay, so guinea pigs don't make their own vitamin C. So they
Oh.
get vitamin C elsewhere. That's why they eat Timothy hay, and that's why they also get vegetables, fruits and veggies. But the thing about fruits is that it's too high on sugar for them to kind of digest it all fully. So I don't I'm not a vet, obviously, so take this as you will, but as someone who unfortunately had many guinea pigs, unfortunately, that you go through, you know, kind of like you grab a number getting meat. But that's awful of me to say, but I'm just being brutally honest, because if you don't know what you're doing, don't get a pet at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So fruits such as even like apples, raspberries, you want to be careful with anything with seeds. Strawberries, like, although yes, it looks nice and yes, it's healthy, like for us as people, unless if you're allergic to it and intolerant of it. For guinea pigs, it's not as good. Even carrots are really bad for guinea pigs because it's so high in sugar that
wow.
you can only give them the size of a carrot, the size of their eye, and their eye is like half the size of ours, even smaller. So that's the best way, I say, to think about that when you're measuring out like fruits and veggies.
Even carrots, which we wouldn't consider to be sweet, you know, like that can be.
Like maybe if you take, what's that candy where you take it and then it makes everything taste different, like it changes like your taste buds, like how like, and like there's like there is a candy and you take it, and a lot of people take it, especially if they have problems like, oh, I don't like the taste of this, like whether you're a picky eater, but there's like diseases that causes that, like picky eatingness. I don't know what the official term is, credit me, but I just saw that in like a documentary or something on YouTube. And anyway, but there is this candy and it changes your taste buds. So I wonder if maybe in a way carrots can be sweet. I don't think carrots are sweet, but maybe to guinea pigs, you know.
Yeah, to guinea pigs it might be overpoweringly sweet, which is why, you know, to also clarify, we're not guinea pigs. But
You should talk about your dream.
yes, oh yes, I actually had a dream where a relative of
I
mine.
had a dream.
Yes, right, getting on a speech, and I'll censor some of the details. But one of my relatives. This is what we call syncretism. That's a guinea pig in a business card. That's a guinea pig. We don't know whose guinea pig that is,
It
but
was just in my
it was
bag.
yes. So this is a symbol or signal that
No.
guinea pigs are, you know, a significant thing. Anyway, in my dream last night, this was last night, one of my relatives, who shall not be named, told me in a
Shall
very.
not be named Voldemort. Voldemort, call him.
But my relative Voldemort told me in a dream that last night, mind you, that that I was being discussed in some coded way. That in basically this was the message. What was the message? Do you remember? I just shared this like an hour ago, and I can't remember what it is now.
Like
Yes.
they are not.
They leave knots. They leave knots, and when I say knots, this is very important. It means knots like a rope
Like
that creates knots.
K-N-O-T-S.
Right, K-N-O-T-S. So they leave knots when they take the guinea pig figs.
They leave knots when they take the guinea pig figs.
Yes. So this seems like a medieval riddle that you have to solve to pass through a gateway, you know, with a troll guarding it
Yeah.
by a bridge or something, and you have to solve a riddle before you can get through. So I don't know if anyone out there watching this knows the meaning of that, but if you can, please, well, first, great, thank you, good for you. And then also, second, find a way of getting this message to us, preferably by like a parchment and scroll and messenger pigeon. And
Put it on a dope and send it.
yes, just so you know, we're here by the beach, so just tell the pigeon to go to the beach, and it'll.
Just any beach in Florida.
Yes, any beach in Florida, and tell it to look for BlackOUT, and
if
it'll
we're
find
not
us.
dead by the coronavirus, to be fair,
Exactly. If we
that
make it through the plague.
Okay, I guess to be serious and not
Yes.
serious, but you know, I've been following it since, like, you know, it's debated whether it's like late October-ish. Some say, but it became more prominent, well known, I think widespread, in around like early December time. And I've been following it since then, and it is a little concerning to see the amount of people, like, you know, stressing. Like, I like it that, you know, on Twitter people are stressing, oh, wash your hands, like, that's good, okay, but like, have you not been washing your hands before? Like, is that, like, I don't want to know, like, personally, like, and like, you know, like, you see, like, you know, like what, like Ron DeSantis and Marco Rubio, okay, like I'm glad they're saying to people, wash your hands, but like that shit gets over like 60K likes. Like, I mean, have you guys not been washing your hands? I don't want to shake those hands. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or like the amount of like soaps gone and hand sanitizers and masks. Like, God forbid, like I hope that God forbid it, like, because it's in Pinellas now. I think 2 cases in Pinellas. God forbid the like we are under, you know, everybody like nationwide, we're under quarantine like in Italy. I hope the government sends me a mask, knock on my door, you know, maybe put it in my mailbox and I'll go out and get it. Like, how am I gonna get a mask? You know, but then also like the what do you call it? Nurses, they don't have masks. You know, like, what are we gonna do if they don't have a mask? How am I gonna get a mask? That's me ranting.
These are the deep questions that we don't have answers to just yet.
And then people say, you know, I was at a place, I was saying to you where they no longer serve coffee. I'm not going to mention it. I won't mention the name.
well,
and I was there.
out of mercy.
And you know, there's some people, like, I'm not overly concerned. Like, I don't think we're all going to die. I think it's upsetting the amount of people who already died. You know, it's like anything in life. I think it's just something, there's nothing
always
we
risk.
could do. Exactly.
There's always risk.
And I think the best we could say is, I feel you, I see you. You know, and it's just, we're here for you, and if you want to talk, you know, talk, or, you know, I think that's the benefit about the internet.
Connects people,
stuff like that. Yeah,
information.
Unless if you don't have the internet, then maybe send a dove. We'll get it
A
somehow.
dove, yeah, we'll
What did I say?
yeah.
Dove? How do you
Dove.
How do you say?
Dove.
It's a dove.
Yes.
Oh.
A dove is a bird.
Well, I know what it is, but I guess because, you know, I have family from elsewhere that put some words.
Actually, no. The ones that send are messenger pigeons. Those aren't doves.
They aren't just, look at this.
We have a guest.
Bob.
He's a guest star. He's Bob the squirrel.
Sabrina the teenage squirrel. If it jumps up, I'm gonna scream. And then hashtag it.
This is our guest in the program. This is our special guest to give comment and feedback on using nature and art. And Bob the squirrel.
I'm still waiting
Yes.
for someone to poop on this. And we call it art.
Hey. Hi. Got places to be.
Places to be.
So these
and
are our
things to
fans
see.
right now. They're gathering to
2.
support us. You see, there's another.
I hope they don't eat
another
things from the
squirrel.
trash. That's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we have a lot of fans, and they're supporting our artwork, and they're giving
I told you.
they're giving their
climb up 'cause
feedback.
You're talking to them. They're gonna climb up and they're gonna poop.
They're giving their feedback to our artwork.
They almost said they're gonna poop on your shoe.
They're our consultants for this nature-based art program.
I wonder if you can consult dead artists. What would they think about the present art world? Like, would it be? Do you think they would be disappointed? Would they be?
Well, a lot of artists who pass have big egos, so I'm sure part of them will just assume that the status of art has gone down because they're not in it. So I have to believe some of them would think that, but on the other hand, by the same token, if they see themselves in other artists, they might think, okay, that art's okay. Oh, look, my finger. See?
That's true.
Yeah, there we go.
That's true, though. No one if anyone comments. If
Yeah, I
anyone
know.
does
Can
end
you
up
imagine
saying this,
someone
it's
commenting in a video saying it was pretty okay, except that he covered the camera with his finger once? You know?
Like, who cares? Just listen to
More
this.
than once. Yes, the content here is gold. If you're not aware, we're going to clarify that this is in fact good material for the critics. You know.
With the critics.
Yes.
No, but I think, you know, I mean, I'm having fun. I think
Yeah.
the thing about art is, first now I'm just kind of doing whatever I could glue that sticks.
There's 3 squirrels.
But we're just gonna cover this with the plastic and the dream catcher. So I guess whatever we do here doesn't really matter.
Yes. So this is just phase 1. This is our first day working on this piece that will be
It's due April 11th. Fun fact:
Yes.
April 11th was
April
the day
11th.
marks my anniversary when I was in a car accident. Should I say that story if anyone cares about that story? Or you want?
I have heard this story 3 million times, but I'm assuming our viewers here have not. So you're
So
free.
no viewers.
Yes.
Whoever
Well,
cares,
we'll make it 3,000,001.
Maybe that would
for the
go
sake of
viral,
that.
story.
Yes.
So
This
back
is
in April, was it April 11th in 2016? I was walking across the street and I remember like around 10 seconds left, and my mom was on the phone, And then and my mom was like, oh, you know, like she was in the middle of talking, I think to my grandparents, and she paused in the middle of like this on the road right in front of the school. You know, I'm talking about that street. We walked on it, and then I was like, Mom, go. So I was like yanking her arm, and then by the time like I walked back to her, you know, like to grab her from the middle of the road, like the light already turned green. And so I'm short, I'm 5'2". And so a bus was blocking me and the cars were like honking, and when I stepped, like I was still walking, like a car just like hit me, and then, you know, the whole story, I thought I was flying. I was like, wee! Well, my first thought wasn't, I didn't see like the 8x4 television screen, 8x10 television screen, whatever it's called. Like, you know, like you see your memories go by, it's like a flashback. You're like, oh, I'm dying. I didn't get that. I really thought, oh, a car feels like a marshmallow. That's the adrenaline coming in. You know, like already hit. But I really
Cars
thought,
do not actually feel like marshmallows.
No.
Don't go out there testing this.
Yeah, but yeah, to be fair, but that's what I really thought. I was like, wow, a car really feels like a marshmallow. And then I realized I was flying. I was like, wow, I could fly. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can't fly. People can't fly unless you have a jetpack. And then I plopped to the ground, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm fine. And then I tried getting up, and I couldn't get up. And that's my story.
It was at that moment that the first hint came in that something might be wrong.
And they gave me a ticket for damaging the person's car with my body.
How dare your body happen to be there when the crossing signal was on? Wow, the nerve and outrage of these New Yorkers in Florida. Indeed.
But like, got like a ticket for damaging the person's car with my body.
Yeah. The real question is, did the car survive?
Oh, that I have no idea. I just know my parents were so upset. Like, we got out of the ticket, obviously. My dad's a lawyer, so he wasn't gonna pay that shit. But there was no way I wanted to pay that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were also the one who was hit.
Yeah. But she was nice. She called me. Well, they had to stop her because she tried driving away.
Oh, nice. That
And
very
then
nice
other
of her.
people in the cars, like they all parked their cars and they're like, hey, you hit someone, you know? And then they waved her down, like the guy like
She didn't know she hit somebody?
Oh no, they know, of course. That's why they're driving away, you know. And that was my first accident. I was in two more.
Goodness.
The second one, I was cat sitting in Tarpon Springs, and then someone ran their stop sign and just T-boned me on my side. And I remember she was like to the office, she was texting and driving. I think she was in her 50s. And then she was like, oh, I just got my car fixed. Bitch, you just hit me. Like, really? And you're worried about you getting your car fixed. Like, I was upset I couldn't take my test that day. I had midterms. Anyway. Then the third one was when someone ran I was going to volunteer, the third one, 3 times the charm. And this all happens every year. It's just known with like...
We time it.
Oh.
We just know it's that time of year. Keep a lookout.
No, but honestly, and so for the third time, I was going to volunteer at a place I just won't mention, just in case. And I was in the right-hand lane, and someone again ran his red light, T-boned me. But now it was on the passenger side, so at least it wasn't directly. But again, I feel like people, like a normal person, would see the flashbacks. What I thought that third time was, again? Like, it's happening to me again? You know? And then, you know, the whole, you know, the car moved, and I was like, damn. And then there went my Cindy Cooper, my poor Mini Cooper. Then she was deemed totaled. 5 months later, she was
officially pronounced dead.
And then now I have my Rachel Ray Rogue. Her birthday is on February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day.
And as you can see, the naming of these vehicles is highly significant.
Well, okay, so my grandmother likes I think Rachel Ray, isn't she called like the Barefoot Contessa, or is that someone different?
I don't know.
So anyway, like, her name was just Rachel Rowe, because I like naming things. So Cindy Cooper, my Mini Cooper, so the CC, you know, Cindy Cooper. Then I thought Rachel Rogue. And then I always know, like, you see, like, on cat food and what other things, like, Rachel Ray. And I was like, you know what, Rachel Ray stuck. So I did Rachel Ray Rogue. Like, I have a fern called Farrah Fawcett the Fern. She's my favorite fern.
The favorite fern. Farrah
Well, I
Fawcett.
went out, like you'll see when you come over, like instead of sleeping, I just spent the night moving furniture, and now I have a gardening section. There are some fake plants there, to be fair, but I had to cover the empty spots.
The fake ones are the easiest ones to look after.
Yeah, like in total, I have 6 real plants. They're 2 fake ones, but you don't know that because you're not coming over.
Although the next phases of this artwork are to include
The dream catcher.
This
I
dream
feel
catcher.
like so we should do this at the end, right? I
Yes,
feel like put the plastic,
the
on top
plastic.
for like a different adding to texture. I feel we could do now is put some of the plastic as a reflection on the bottom and on top. That's what
Like
we could
layering
also
it
do.
up?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I like the idea of that. I kind of. What do you think
I
of?
feel like I want to see this separate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, home.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't think
Yeah,
about
the
from
shadow.
the back.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So that's Spanish moss that we've been putting into the holes that we inserted in rage into the canvas that were
Really,
punched
I
in.
like that.
We have like circular things there. That's tea and rosebuds and other things we found, shells from the surrounding area, and some things Taryn had in a bag.
Park. I won't name the park just
Yeah.
in case.
But it includes an Indian mound.
Yeah, Native
American
mound. I got my degree in anthropology. I have a bachelor's in anthropology and a minor in art history. You have a minor in art history and entrepreneurship,
and a major in political science.
so I was gonna say we're educated. Maybe that's not the right word.
We
but
should say educated in an improper way, like
Yeah.
edumacated.
educated. We're educated.
We're edumacated.
So
in Florida.
Right now we're in a park that has 2 or 3 Native American mounds on, like here at the site, and so we didn't obviously grab the shell from the mound because that's
Right.
just rude and
Of course.
offensive. So instead, what we did was we grabbed it
By the beach.
By the beach, and then in Florida, Spanish moss is very prevalent, and in fact, I learned in St. Augustine that they would stuff the beds with Spanish moss.
Imagine
instead
how
of-
itchy that would be.
well, they, with mattresses and pillows, so wasn't a thing. So they would stuff it with this moss, and this part is actually using tea. And then the Rocky Mountain thing, just because, why not? And then a picture of Florida and some nature things, but this is all going to be covered in tissue. We could even like paint the tissue if we want, or whatever we want. It's just the most important thing about art is to have fun in it, and it's your own interpretation, and no one can't say that isn't art, because the definition of art is anything that the artist says is art. And so we're putting a dream catcher. It's colorful. That's why we're doing plain colors. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna have a dream catcher. I want to pin it over here, and have this probably pin it 3 more times, like spread out. Mm-hmm. And then we put the plastic on top to add that final reflection, almost like a layer covering everything. Mm-hmm. I think that would look really good.
So it's definitely has a lot of significant layers of meaning to it, drawing from natives, found objects, Dadaism, reinterpreting the use of things. So canvas not doing the obvious and painting on it, but turning it into an object itself. And then like Taryn was saying, also thinking of some aesthetics, right? Like texture and gloss and unexpected uses of common things that people see around us, and then turning that into art.
Yeah, the ready-made. I mean, that's why Marcel Duchamp's, the fountain was so, yes, at the end of the day, was a urinal, but why it changed the whole art scene was because he proposed now that art can be anything, and he elevated what the status quo was of a fine art. Back then, a fine art had to be a landscape. It had to be something pleasant to the eyes, like it had to be realistic. And then he's kind of just, going after, what happened in World War I and then World War II and, the Great Depression. It changed the world. And now, yes, landscapes are pretty. I'm not taking away from that, and we're not taking away from that. But it's kind of, the art had to change. As people were changing, so does art. And so then that's when a lot of art movements came about after.
And that's why we have BlackOUT today.
That was so that would have been a perfect note to end it on. I feel
it would. I almost felt like pressing the button.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Press it now.
Okay, we'll press it now.
This is. Wait, should we say the date? It's March 11th.
It is March 11th. It's March
2020.
11th, 2020, in Florida. Should we say the city?
Yeah, St. Petersburg.
It's St. Petersburg, Florida, in Florida. And thank you all
burgers
for
or green benches.
Well, this is not actually a green bench, but it
No,
is a
thank God
it is a
it's not a
bench.
green bench.
Right? Yes. Bye bye.
See you next time.
See you next time.